excited to have them. They do a great job representing us in Columbia. We have a great delegation, and they're always very responsive to the needs of the chamber and needs of the business community, and we look forward to supporting them in Columbia as they work to make things better, not only in Anderson, but across the state of South Carolina.
We have a great group of speakers this morning, and we're excited for them to tell you. They work hard for us every day, and we're just really proud. We've got a great delegation, and we're just happy to have them with us today.
We've got a good delegation. We've got some new faces on the delegation, and we welcome them to our delegation. Our new chairman is Representative Ann Thayer. She'll do a fine job. She's been telling us all what to do for years anyway, so now it's official. The overall state of the economy in South Carolina is good. In spite of everything that's happened and everything that's has been going on for the last couple of years, our state's humming. We're going to have another surplus this year. We've had the biggest year we've ever had in economic development. Everybody's thought about the big announcement down in Berkeley County. Everybody gets all excited about battery-powered electric cars and all this stuff. And the one thing they neglect is we've got the king daddy of everything right here in Anderson. Robert Bosch Company is developing a hydrogen cell. It's going to blow the battery stuff out of the water because it can do fire trucks, it can do 18-wheelers, and you don't have to stop every 2 hours and charge it. As far as the Senate agenda this year, the two things that we talked about, CON, Certificate of Need, is coming back up. The other thing that was the topic of our last meeting was bond reform. When your sheriff and your deputies know the bad guys by first name, something's way wrong. But those are the two things that, and of course, after the Supreme Court's ruling yesterday on the fetal heartbeat bill, we'll be addressing that again also. We've been blessed in Anderson County with all the economic development that we've got. And you got 500 jobs here, 1,000 jobs here. We got to find some people to fill them. The number one question they ask is, can I make a profit? Number two question is, can I get employees? We're getting ready to start handing out most of the ARPA money. I serve on the Rural Infrastructure Authority for water and sewer. We'll be handing out those grants. I think the last I heard was about the middle of February. We're continuously working on our business climate along with the chamber. The chamber does a good job helping us with that. Every year the paper calls and says, what's your number one priority you're going to do this year? For the last 16 years, it's been the same thing with me. It's constituent service. That's the one thing Mike Gamble can help you with, control. Jobs, taxes, and education. I got to have 22 other senators to go along with me on a lot of the big stuff. But constituent service is the main thing. You call me with a problem with an agency or whatever's going on, we'll get you an answer. And not always going to be the answer you want to hear, but it'll be the right answer. Well, Anderson County Legislative Delegation is your voice in Columbia. We're a diverse group. We represent all types. Some people represent, like Ann Thayer's got a lot of the city of Anderson. I've got some of the city of Anderson, but I've also got a lot of rural. And we've got a lot of rural in Anderson County still. We got a lot of development going on, but the importance of the delegation is we are your eyes and ears to the General Assembly and to state agencies.
With you, as you all know, we return $2 billion in money back to our taxpayers. This is the largest tax rebate and the largest tax relief that we've ever had in the whole history of South Carolina. We took the brackets for the 4%, 5%, and 6% and collapsed it down in 3%. We took that highest tax bracket that most of us in here probably pay, that was 7%. We have taken it down to 6.5%, and over the next 5 years it will go down to 6% in increments. One of the other big things that we heard about last year was election integrity. We heard you, we listened, we fixed that in South Carolina. We did such a good job. We actually have national groups pointing to South Carolina as putting forth some of the best legislation in the country. So your elections are secure here. You should feel good about that, and we're proud of the work that we did on that. And then lastly, infrastructure was a huge priority last year, and it will continue to be a priority going forward. Everything is going to be about economic development on the House side, and we want your input. we want to be partners with this state. Workforce development, better job training and placement for sure is very important. Removing barriers and cutting red tapes for occupational licenses. As you all know, education is essential to economic development. The two go hand in hand. Education savings accounts, we talked about that last year. We got it through the House, we got it through the Senate, and I believe Massey killed it, isn't that right, Senator Gambrell? So it gives parents more choice for that money to follow the student. So we're going back with that. We're also going to address a lot of the concerns in higher education, especially with our teachers. Look at these programs. Are they all learning the same thing? And then lastly, of course, limited government. People want to live in a place where their taxes are low. So we're going to continue. As long as we're prosperous, we're going to continue to try and give back to y'all and reduce that tax burden.
The reason why I'm optimistic about this next session, our speaker came up with an agenda with economic growth. The people from across this country, they're coming. They're coming to South Carolina. They're making this place their home. I made this place my home for me and my children back in 2013. I'm from North Alabama. Now, North Alabama and the upstate have a lot of things that are very similar, but there's a big difference in one aspect: economic growth. In North Alabama is very rural, and we call it the brain drain, where kids, they grow up and to chase their dreams, they have to leave the state or that area away from their parents and grandparents to do that. But not here in the upstate. We have a really wonderful manufacturing base. We're an insulated market because we made investments here. The leaders that were here 50, 80 years ago took the time to put in the proper infrastructure and the spending to make sure that we have what we have and enjoying today.
My district's very rural, and that's one of the biggest issues that I would like to address because that's my constituency. The main thing is if we can promote business. I've always been about business. I was the president of the Chamber Board in Abbeville for twice. Back several years ago before I got elected, and so I understand the importance of business and what business means to especially a rural area. Even if it's just 20 jobs, 15 jobs, it means a lot to our district. Reducing red tape, doing all the things that are necessary to promote a business to come in, train our workers. We've tried very hard. We're very, very fortunate to have like Tri-County Tech to help with our workforce, promoting positive business, lower taxes, to kind of lift, as they say, the rising tide lifts all ships. So that's what my focus has been on for many years. Priorities of the Department of Transportation have been formalized. They don't just go by political clout anymore. Like back in the old days, you just think of the smoke-filled room and these cigar-chomping politicians saying, "I need a highway in my district." It doesn't work that way. We have priorities, traffic counts. We're doing a lot of great things. The Department of Transportation has repaired or replaced over 250 bridges in the last 4 years. So, that's a lot of bridges. A lot of roads have been repaired. As Representative Gambrell said, Senator Gambrell said, it's all about constituent service. I want to serve the people. I want to serve my district and serve my patients as well, and do the best we can. And that's what we do. And if you have any complaints about your legislators, you can always, or your senators too, for that matter. Anyone familiar with how much they pay the House and the Senate members in South Carolina? $10,400 a year. Who said it? And $10,400 a year. And so if you don't like what your senator or representative's doing, you get what you pay for. Just kidding. But you can't buy a good used car for $10,000. Good grief. So, but no, we don't do it for the money, believe me. So it's not like we have a huge gold mine, and it's not like we're getting paid hundreds of thousands of dollars a year. But it's a service, and that's why we do it.